SpongeBob SquarePants is a happy little sponge who lives under the sea. He loves helping his friends, working with passion, and having funny adventures every day. Tonight, let's dive under the sea and enjoy SpongeBob's fun life. Before we begin, don't forget to like and subscribe. Your support helps us create more magical stories for you. Relax and get cozy. You can choose a comfortable position. Let's dive into the fantastic story. In the underwater city, there was a famous restaurant called the Krusty Krab. Many sea creatures loved to eat there because the Krabby Patties were warm, delicious, and special. The happiest worker in the restaurant was SpongeBob SquarePants. SpongeBob was cheerful, kind, and full of energy. He loved cooking Krabby Patties more than anything else. Every morning, he woke up early with a big smile and hurried to work. "I'm ready, I'm ready," he sang happily. The owner of the Krusty Krab was Mr. Krabs. He was smart and loved money very much. He always wanted his restaurant to make more money. Another worker at the Krusty Krab was Squidward. He was a grumpy octopus. He worked at the front counter. Squidward did not enjoy his job very much. He often became tired of SpongeBob's loud singing and endless excitement. Even though the three of them were very different, every day at the Krusty Krab was full of funny adventures. One summer, Mr. Krabs decided to take a vacation. During his trip, he stayed at a very fancy hotel. The hotel had soft beds, shiny floors, beautiful lights, and expensive food. Mr. Krabs loved the hotel very much. But when he saw the bill, his eyes became huge. "What?" he shouted. "One night costs this much money?" At first, Mr. Krabs felt shocked. But then he slowly smiled. "If hotels make this much money," he whispered, "then I should open a hotel too." The next morning, Mr. Krabs rushed back to his restaurant. "SpongeBob, Squidward," he shouted, "we are changing the Krusty Krab into a fancy hotel." Overnight, the restaurant became a tall hotel called Krusty Towers. There were colorful lights, room service, soft beds, and even a swimming pool. SpongeBob jumped up and down excitedly. "A real hotel? This is amazing." He quickly put on a hotel uniform and practiced carrying suitcases. But Squidward crossed his arms. "This will end badly," he said. Then Mr. Krabs shared the hotel's most important rule. "We never say no to a guest." SpongeBob smiled brightly. "I will be the best hotel worker ever." Soon the first guest arrived. It was Patrick Star. Patrick carried many strange bags and boxes into the hotel. "I want your fanciest room," Patrick said proudly. "Of course," Mr. Krabs replied happily. At first, Patrick only wanted help carrying his bags upstairs. But soon, his requests became stranger and stranger. First, he wanted hot towels. Then, he wanted cold towels because the hot towels were too hot. Later, Patrick called room service because he could not find the television remote. The remote was right beside him. That night, Patrick rang the service bell again. "Can you paint my room pink?" he asked. "Right now," Squidward cried. "The customer is always right," Mr. Krabs shouted. Poor Squidward spent all night painting Patrick's room. Meanwhile, SpongeBob happily made snacks and cleaned rooms. But things became worse every hour. Finally, Squidward could not take it anymore. "That's it. I quit." He threw his work hat onto the floor and stormed out of the hotel. Mr. Krabs gasped. "You can't quit." Squidward stopped at the door and smiled. "Oh, I'm not leaving," he said calmly. "I'm becoming a guest." A few minutes later, Squidward returned wearing a fancy bathrobe and slippers. "Welcome to Krusty Towers," SpongeBob said politely. "I know," Squidward answered. "Now you work for me." Mr. Krabs looked nervous. "We never say no to a guest." Squidward sat down in a soft chair. "First," he said, "I want a luxury bubble bath." "No problem," SpongeBob said happily. "But the water must be perfect," Squidward added. "Not too hot, not too cold. And I want relaxing music too." Mr. Krabs' smile slowly disappeared. A few minutes later, ding, ding, Squidward relaxed in the bath. "Now I want fresh cookies," he said. "I can do that," SpongeBob shouted excitedly. "I want them warm, soft, and full of melted chocolate," Squidward said. Finally, the cookies were ready. Soon, the whole hotel smelled wonderful. Patrick followed the smell through the hallway. Patrick said happily. "I smell happiness." Finally, Squidward made his biggest request. "I want a giant fountain in my room." "A what?" Mr. Krabs cried. "A giant fountain," Squidward repeated calmly. "The bigger, the better." Mr. Krabs nearly cried, but he still followed the hotel rule. Soon, workers carried a huge fountain into Squidward's room. "Wow, this fountain is so cool," SpongeBob said. Then, SpongeBob, Patrick, and Squidward were playing happily in the fountain. Water splashed everywhere. The walls shook the ceiling cracked. SpongeBob looked worried. I think the hotel is making strange noises. But just as they were having fun, they suddenly heard a strange noise. The building shook violently. Crack! The pipes burst. The windows shattered. Crash! Because there was too much water, Krusty Towers collapsed into a giant pile of rubble. Later, everyone woke up in the hospital covered in bandages. At least everyone is okay, SpongeBob said with a small smile. Squidward was too tired to speak. Mr. Krabs slowly looked at the hospital bill, the repair bill, and the broken furniture list. His face turned pale. Opening a hotel costs too much money, he whispered sadly. Then he sighed. Maybe selling Krabby Patties is better after all. A few days later, the Krusty Krab opened again. SpongeBob happily cooked Krabby Patties. Squidward sat at the counter, looking bored. And Mr. Krabs hugged his cash with a smile. Finally, they were happily working in the restaurant again. Sometimes, good things don't need to change. Being yourself and sharing your unique flavor is what truly matters. We also learn that we should say no to bad requests. If we don't, it can bring big trouble. This is today's story. I hope you like it and learn something from it. I wish you have a restful sleeps and sweet dreams. Good night.